Okay. Whew.
Oh my word.
What a match. What an absolute banger of a match. Oh my goodness.
He keeps doing it. Value just keeps doing it. He raises
Yeah.
my blood pressure to like, man.
You gotta,
I need
we
to
gotta get
talk
some
to him,
Tums
dude.
for you. We gotta get some, like, holy
My
wow.
God, dude. That was insane, though. The comeback was, in fact, real.
Yeah, I mean that was you're talking a 2-0 coming back through a draw and winning the 2-out. Like that is some next level comeback stuff. It looks like the raid has finally came over through. Welcome in Orphan Ryonic. First of all, thank you so much. Thank you so much for your excellent commentary and hosting that you did over on our sister channel. Again, folks, just make sure you keep a follow for here, keep a follow for over there. That's where all the loser bracket stuff is going to go on. When we're hosting anything with the losers bracket through these channels. So keep an eye on that. First of all, I also want to say, Whitnake, you played exceptionally well, my friend. Third place is nothing to shake your head at. I would invite you in for an interview, but I know that is not your style. So congratulations on your third place. You played extremely well, and we appreciate you staying up for as late as you do to partake in these. So I think we're looking at a finals here that is going to be Value and Candemir. And it will be interesting to see. Candemir hasn't fought Value at all yet this tournament. Value's come back from quite a few matches in the losers bracket. He's sitting after 2 best-of-5s and is now going to come into a best-of-9. So he's played his fair share and has asked for a 5-minute break, and we're going to give it to him.
You know,
that's a lot. That's a lot of Dark Souls 3 in a very short amount of time. But yeah, if what do you end up looking at? You and I were in call watching the last set together. What were your thoughts on that little bit that we saw there in that last finals?
Value's setup is struggles, very much struggles. Sword and board, physical, whatever. It doesn't matter if it's physical or if it's on dark or whatever. It's struggles on high latency. You don't have that, and especially when Value is used to landing those backswings. Yeah. Like the fact he landed any at all at that point was a kind of it was a little miracle, you know, a little twirly spice, keep us going. But like, honest to goodness, like it took him a while to figure out, but once he had it unlocked, once he figured out what was what, you could tell there was a change.
Yeah.
And there was a whole lot of R1, so that's
I think it was just a matter of trying to figure out latency. I think that's been Value's thing this whole tournament. Watching the fight with Bat that he had in the losers bracket as well, you could tell that for a couple of those rounds he was struggling with latency. He doesn't play latency that much, especially over, you're talking 150 max is probably what Value plays frequently. So you're looking at playing at 200, 210, 220, 230. That's very, very different from like even up to 170 to 180. There's a really big difference when you go from like 180, 190 into the 200s bracket. And it just took him a little bit of time to figure that out. And like you said, it was just hitting R1 anytime it might have landed. And but you got to tip your hat where you can. I mean, like I said, Whitnake played so well throughout this entire tournament, made it all the way up to Candy and just couldn't beat out Value once, just could not do it again. But I mean, you can't blame him. He played so incredibly well, but definitely hats off to Value as well for that. And I mean, it's a comeback. And I love comeback. Incredible. Comebacks make hype, right? It's so much fun to watch a comeback. But we'll see. I mean, Candemir, that's a mountain to climb. Especially when you're on the back of playing as many rounds as Value has today. Yeah. Candemir's that's going to be a check. That's going to be a hard thing to get around. Candemir is, one of the just fundamentally best players that's touched the game, and it's going to be hard to get around. So we'll see how well Value is able to deal with that. Value does tend to struggle a little bit versus the off stock. And that's, I think we all know Candemir is going to be using that. So it'll be very interesting. I know, it's kind of crazy. So what I also heard with Candemir using off stock, I also heard that Value might use Sword and Board. I know, not. We're seeing setups we haven't seen from these people. But I'm very excited to see how this is going to turn out.
This is going to be nuts.
It's going to be quite fun to watch, without a doubt.
What's the match history between Value and Candemir? What's the scoop, LB?
From my understanding, I only know of 2 best-of-9s, and I think the first one, and I don't know how long ago these were, in what conditions or what rules or anything. It's just more of what I've been told. So definitely don't hold me accountable for this because I don't know if it's true or not. But from my understanding, the first best-of-9 they did Value 154, and the second one they did Value 152. but I don't know what weapons were used. I don't know
Yeah.
if they were both having good days or not. Best of nines in a session, it can really go either way. You know that from the duels and the stuff that you do in the Elden Ring ladder. It is definitely day dependent on stuff like that. So in a tournament setting, I don't know if they've ever fought in a tournament setting. So we have anything to look at in history. I mean, Value's been in a few tournaments, Candamir's been in and won a few tournaments. So they both definitely have experience in dealing with nerves, and I think Value's shown that as well, and experience in dealing with nerves as he's come back from, he was able to beat out AV, he beat out Bat, he beat out Whitnake, and now he's ready to go up against Candemir. So
Yeah.
it's definitely, there's a lot of nerves and things that do play in there, but I think Value's handling them quite well. I don't think Candemir is the type of person that gets faltered at all by nerves. I
I don't
mean,
think
I don't think robots
cyborgs.
can.
I don't. Yeah, I was
Yeah,
gonna say,
I
but
don't
yeah.
think they can.
But yeah, I've seen them fight a few times. Obviously, it was in a friendly setting. It wasn't quite in. There wasn't quite as much on the line, so I'd be curious to see now.
Right,
I think
exactly.
Value's done quite well in the past, but it's going to be a hard one. It's going to be a hard one to check. This is a wild card, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not sure how this one's going to play out at all. When is the where's the Canadian? Where is he at? Someone grab him by the scruff of the neck and drag him back, please.
I think he's earned his 5 minutes. That's a lot. That's a lot of playing, playing around. In between those different matches.
I understand.
You're expecting
completely.
a lot of players.
Yeah.
We try not to do too many like best of fives and best of nines, but at a certain point you have to. You get to a certain point in the tournament, you have to. It's expected of it. And it's the same if Whitnake would have came back instead, he would also be coming off the back of 2 best of fives. So it's just it's the name of the game, unfortunately, that you do have to put that much time in. But it's definitely something that we've seen done before, right? We saw Fury do it in the last tournament he was in, come back after 2 best of fives and winning 2 best of nines. So it's definitely something that can be done. It's happened many times in the past and can happen again. But I mean, like I said, I don't think Candemir is going to be not that anybody else that Value has fought has been an easy hill to climb, but especially will not be Candemir as an easy hill to climb. My apologies.
I'm still having the heart medication from that Fury versus Value match. Oh my lord. The fact we got to see Value's curve sword was still like the highlight.
Yeah,
for that. Honest to goodness, I'm not gonna lie.
He played it quite well. To be fair, for a complete sword and board mate, he came out pretty. I mean, you kind of expect, right? Anybody that's at that level of play, they're going to be able to use all the weapons that highlight fundamentals, straight sword S-stock, sword and board, rotten grew, daggers. They're going to be able to use those quite well. But still, in a tournament setting against one of the best people to ever touch curve sword, which is Fury, right? To mirror him on curve sword, like, whoo, that's some next level confidence. Whether it's bravery, whether it's just trying to figure things out or whatever it may have been, but. Yeah, definitely excited to see what's going to happen this time around. We've seen a lot of Candemir. I don't want to say not being in check with other players, but I mean the man's insane. He's so good at the game, and it's so hard to climb. Like I said, to go up against that player. I mean, like you mentioned a few times you fought him, you don't touch him. The one time I fought Candemir, I don't think I hit him. It just. You're talking. It's just such a next level when you look at somebody that's so fundamentally sound as the side of Candemir, and the when Candemir decides he's going to swing, it's because he's going to hit you, and other than that, he doesn't swing. And it's just he's so methodical in how he plays and very smart and thought out in what he does that it makes it very hard to actually counteract that. And you're looking at a setup like Sword and Board where you're trying to land those backswings, it becomes very tricky. Keep in mind, this is Middle East to North America, so we will be in latency rules for this as well. So things like Corvian and stuff like that won't be allowed. So Corvian Expo won't be an option for some of the options that we'll see coming out when people get low and stuff. One thing I'm going to mention really quick, and maybe you can chat about this a little bit as well. We saw Tears of Denial play a huge role in this tournament. It has saved Value on 3 separate occasions, and 2 of the occasions he came back to win. So I mean, you're talking like it's a pretty big impact, and I've always been told, and something that I've always done is I just never put Tears on dual builds because it's like it's not nearly as important as an invasion where something can one-shot you, right? But obviously, there's some type of thought process behind. So somebody that is pretty much dedicated duelist and has fought in tournaments and dueled quite a lot as yourself. What are your thoughts on the Tears of Denial strategy that we're seeing Value run?
It's an investment at the end of the day, and don't know if Values want to talk about efficiency in builds. Maybe there's some weird stuff going on there. He does some interesting things, but I mean, it's been invaluable because I mean, it means that if there's a trade, he's gonna win it ultimately, right? At the end of the day, especially on high lat where you kind of have to trade.
Right.
You have one more chance, pretty much at that point. You have one more chance to actually land something,
Sure.
and that one last chance can mean a whole lot, like a whole lot. Like, was it one of the last games from the losers bracket that literally was the deciding factor, literally the deciding factor in who won or lost.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'll be thinking about it. If the servers ever do Sonder on back, thinking about taking it for a spin, seeing what's what. But I mean, having like that 1 HP at the end that one hit to loss turns into two can make a big difference, especially if you're kind of lost and confused and you're not quite sure what's going on. So,
All
I don't
right.
know, man.
It does look like, in terms of latency rules, given that Candemir is in an area that borders both Europe and the Middle East, he did leave it up to Value on whether or not they wanted to use
That's
the
more than
rules.
fair.
And Value does want to use the rules, so we are going to stick with the high latency rules by the looks of it. But yeah, so like we kind of thought that moving in. So again, we won't see the Corbian stuff. I highly doubt any one of them will use hyper armor, but if they do, they can't regen. There is no quick step of any form allowed, so there's still definitely some of these rules in play. But I don't think it's going to matter. You're talking about two extremely fundamentally sound players that play very rustically,
Yeah.
and it's just gonna be a matter of that cat and mouse neutral game that we've talked about so much throughout the last two tournaments and this one, especially in this one, when we have more latency involved. That was some of the other stuff that we've looked at in the other tournaments was always lower lat, or even up to maybe like 120, where you can get away with a lot of the other stuff. In this one, I mean, it's just the fundamentals play such a huge role with latency, because you have to space those attacks as if they're farther away from you than, I mean, if they're closer to you than they are. And that really can cause some hiccups and things like that. So I'm very curious to see how well both of these players manage it. I would guess it's going to be around 200 ms, but I'm not entirely sure. But it should be interesting to see how it plays out. Nonetheless, they're both plenty well good enough to be able to manage that latency, I'm sure.
And I think as well, what we're going to see an awful lot of, it's going to be a question between bursts. So Candemir is probably going to be looking for high damage combos. He's trying to get in, get as much damage in and get out. Whereas Value is the exact opposite. He's going to be looking for those backswings, and hopefully he finds them,
Yeah.
As the last match kind of shows, it's like, he was sort of rooting around in his pockets a bit trying to find those ones, but...
Yeah. Yeah, there was a couple of them. I think he picked him up one match that he dropped from the other, but... But yeah, it's one of those things that you mentioned earlier. Sword and Board is just so reliant on landing those backswings, and the straight sword S stock isn't as it's reliant on them, right? You play SSS stock. Backswings are important; they're a big part of the setup, but they aren't the setup as a whole. Which in Sword and Board is more the case.
I mean, you have the ability to trade. You have good whiff punishes with the S stock, depending on if it's elemental or. I'd imagine I would be shocked if Candemir is on a physical build, to be honest with you. I'd imagine we're on a dark build again. Just for that little bit of chip. In the same way that like the backswings are important for S&B, that chip is going to be instrumental in seeing who's going to, especially if you're on 1 HP. Them tiers don't matter if
Nope.
if you have that little bit of chip. So it'll be I'm really excited for this one. Hopefully I don't have a heart attack midway through. That's the only dream. Okay, here comes Value.
And here comes Value.
There he is.
This should be quite exciting to see how they're going to play out. And of course, we're going to see... Actually, we aren't going to see super optimal fashion and full dark fashion coming out from Value walks out a little bit.
Everything all right there,
He's thinking about something.
That's dangerous.
Okay, it is.
Okay, okay.
Dark Souls 3 players thinking, okay, I think we are all set and ready to go.
Ladies and gentlemen, the grand finals, round 1, Candemir versus the infamous Value. Ladies and gentlemen, on a 3, on a 2, on a 1, let's dance.
And there is the bomb in, so we will see them moving forward here. Value getting those tiers up right away. Candemir coming in with the Dragon Head Shield, trying to push him in the corner immediately. Here comes that straight sword coming out. Does find that little chip damage. Value catches him right back in the corner, though, instead. Value with the R1 out, goes in, trying to find setting up for that backswing. Candemir able to judge the roll off of that and get away. There's the R1 coming out now from Candemir. As Value's going to run in with a running attack for 173 damage off of that running attack. We do see the S stock now coming out from the side of Candemir. Candemir trying to find a way to keep Value back. Value trying to keep him in that corner. As you see, they run up, and Value's going to exchange a little bit of space to try to keep him on the back foot there, but Candamir's going to find some time to get a poke in there that's going to push him back. But you see that zoning immediately comes in on the side of Value. Value now runs in, does find the trade. 218 to 125 is that S-Stock versus the straight sword, and now health is a lot more even. Both players sitting right around that 1600 health area as they move forward here. So Value trying to control the center of the map and zone out. Candamir trying to avoid that happening and keep that damage moving forward. So now we see these reactions again coming out from Candamir, very well known for the reactions that we see there. The R1's coming out into the trade of the S-Stock, very good bait there, 187 to 183, and now the damage is super close to being completely even here. I do think Value has just a few bits of a health advantage here, but nothing that's going to be too crazy of a difference. Value now trying to zone Candamir further back into this corner. These R1s coming out and really doing a good job of just pushing him back.
Yeah, again, like Sword and Board, you have the ability to like bully people around the place, and oh my god, that is a considerable amount of damage. Whatever lead was involved there is now completely gone. Oh my dear. And again, back into the corner.
Yeah, we saw Candamir come out, space it out, and find 2 R1s, and Value decided to continue pushing off of that, and it was really good read by Candamir, and there's going to be the finding there as well, and the roll catch off the backswing for the tip of the tier damage, and now Value trying to find the way in. Here's going to be the R1 from the side of Candamir. Now Candamir, quite a big lead. I mean, you're talking a lot of damage, and there's that chip that you talked about. That one health does not matter when there's chip involved, and that's going to be Candamir going up in this best of 9 in a 1-0.
Ouch. 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 Again, you know what? That 1 health, if you have a little bit of regen, maybe might be worth it, but without regen, it's really rough because again, all you're just having to gamble that the other person is on a physical build, and at this level, against Sword and Board, the likelihood of that is very slim. Like you can throw away your Leoring trades with the S-Stock, like it's not worth it against someone who's good in S&B. So you just have to go dark and hope that hope that the chip carries you through, which as we saw.
It did
more than that.
Yeah, it did more than enough there throughout the whole fight. And you know, that's the thing is you do miss out on the Leo trade when you run that dark build. But I think the damage that the optimal damage that you're picking up on Gotthards without having to rely on bundles and stuff does make up for that a little bit, and that chip damage against Sword and Board is going to make a huge difference. You know, you do pick up more when you trade, but you know, Value's not going to trade that much. You know, and I think Candamir probably knows that he's better to optimize for overall damage than those little bits of burst through the trade. So looks like both of our players are back in and ready to go.
Value versus Candamir, round 2, and on a 3 and a 2 and a 1. Allez, gents.
And there is the bolt in. We are going to see the blossoms coming out from each side here and moving forward now throughout this match. We see them just kind of dancing around each other, finding the neutral, finding their footing. The R1 coming out from Value does land for 146 damage. We're going to see a quick swap come out for the Lloyd's rings on the side of Candamir. And now we're going to see an R1 come out from Value, goes for the stagger, and does find the backswing for 183 damage off the backswing as well. Candamir trying to poke off of that S-Stock, but Value just going to roll away from that and get away and reset back to neutral here to start zoning and spacing out from there. Candamir throwing the R1 out from neutral, nearly lands. Value able to see that and roll away. The R1 coming out for the feint. Candamir nearly takes the bait, sees what's happening, and just backs up again. Again, we noticed that, you know, Candamir just so methodical, only swings when he knows he's going to land. There's an R1, goes for the backswing, unable to find out a total of 242, including the chip that comes in. There's the R1 coming out from Value. Value trying to find the damage now, moving forward, hoping to set up a backswing here, able to miss the first R1. Now in the corner is the side of Candamir. Candamir takes a whiff. Value finds the time and space to push off of that, and that's going to force Candy away. Value spaces out. The running attack goes for the charged R2. Of course, the reaction of Candamir is just very easily to get away from that R2. Candamir with the running attack. Value able to roll away from that. Here comes the spacing out from the side of Candamir. Does find the roll catch off of the backswing for 186 damage. Here comes the poke of the S-Stock. Value now trying to find the way in. The chip damage does come through. He goes for the charged R2. Value able to roll aside that, and now Value's the one finds himself in the corner up against that Dragon Head Shield. Gets the backswing for 210 is the side of Candamir. Candamir just slowly but surely pushing through this, foot on the gas, moving forward, not giving Value any room to find that damage. We're now going to see it switch around a little bit to where Candamir's kind of pushing the corner, but he's holding the pressure here, and he actually finds it for 474 damage in total, and a roll catch for 698 damage. And we're going to see Value trying to push a little bit out there for 183, but Value at an insane health disadvantage does find the backswing for 183 more damage, and now they're pushing back, kind of resetting to neutral. I think Value is looking for that as he swaps over to the Dragon Head Shield. We do see the straight sword S-Stock staying true from the side of Candamir. Candamir now trying to push up and try to finish this one out. Value only 3-4 hits away from being down, but there's the pivot. Almost finds the straight for the pivot, but instead gets punished for 376 damage as he lands the roll catch. He does for 154 damage off the Dragon Head Shield, throwing those R1s out, hoping that Candamir's going to run back in, and he actually goes for the block on the running attack of the Saber.
Like, they're both, like, oh my god. I think Value fell for that feint with the movement. Like, Candamir was literally right in on top of him, stop, start, stop, start, stop, start, trying to find some way to get damage, and he eventually got it. It's like, how much was that combo? Like 800 damage or something ridiculous? It's like,
Yeah, I think it was
and then values.
683, but there it is, 119
No.
damage off the Expo. That just waves him out. So Candamir's going up in a 2-0.
2-0. Oh my word. Whew.
Yeah, I mean, that
Oh
was a
my
really,
word.
really tight one in the beginning. So in
Yeah.
the beginning, they're pretty close. They're back and forth. They're cat and mousey, but it was just that little bit that you had pointed out there. I'm just going to shadow that little bit of just those small little setups that finally worked for Candemir. And again, that's just Candemir. The man doesn't swing unless he's going to hit. And if he's not going to hit, he just backs up again. Like the play style that Candemir has and the patience to have that play style really does say something about his play style. I mean, it's quite impressive.
I think Dark Souls 3 is a game of neutral and very targeted aggression. Like, there's no point just running, like some kind of an anime protagonist or whatever, just running at people. You're gonna get slapped around the place. This is the reality of the situation.
Exactly.
But
But I mean, Value is one of those players that does do a really good job of leveraging
yes,
aggression. But again, it's Candemir is not your average player. Even Candemir is not your average super high end, really good player. He,
yeah,
like Candemir is on that next level, and it is very hard to trip him up. And we see Value's done it a few times. He's had a couple matches here. Well, perhaps we're going to see that Value will manage to pull through throughout the length of this. But as of right now, it's looking pretty heavily in favor of Candemir.
yeah. He's been dominant in pretty much every round so far, but it's too early to say. It's all still to play for, ladies and gentlemen. There we have Value there, having a bit of a sip, as you do. And we're just waiting on... Where is he? Where is the scoundrel?
He's on his way. There he is.
There we
Alrighty.
are. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, round 3 for best of 9 between Value and Candemir. On a 3, on a 2, and a 1. Allez, ladies and gents, let's go.
And there it is. There's the bolt-in right there. 2-0 in favor of Candemir. Value looking to pull this around. Candemir looking to finish it out. Candemir throws the R1 out. Value able to roll away from that. And now we actually see a sword and board mirror coming out from Candemir. I got to say, I'm very surprised that we do see the sword and board mirror coming out. The S-Stock was working wonders, but perhaps maybe Candemir just has something to prove here. Maybe he wants to say, hey, you're not the best sword and board player in the world. I'm still here. And we see 200 damage coming out from the running attack on the side of Candemir, and he finds it again. The trade comes out. 432 total is going to be that damage on Value, but he's able to find a little bit of damage on Candemir here. And he's going to actually just kind of be spacing around one another here. Candemir is the one up against closer to the corner, but he's going to run in and find it. There's a trade right there, still in favor of Candemir. Value keeps trading this. That's not good. Able to find the spacing. Unable to find the attack, though. Here comes the R2 coming out from the side of Candemir. Candemir now trying to push this aggression forward. His Value kind of now pushed up against the back wall, closer to that corner, a lot closer to that corner than the side of Candemir. The spacing comes out from Candemir, and the block on the backswing. 106 still comes through from the chip, though. The whiff punish coming out from the side of Value, unable to land that. The running attack comes in from Candemir. Value looking to manage out these attacks and space them out the best he can, but Candemir just so methodical, even on this sword and board, just zoning exceptionally well, only going for those attacks that he's sure are going to land, does not land the backswing there, but Value does for 174 damage, and we're seeing this health slowly come back to even. Now, Value's still behind a little bit, probably by about 100 damage or so from the side of Candemir, and we're going to see Value just trying to push up forward here. Candemir now on the back foot, trying to find the pressure, and the running attack comes in, actually gets Salmon out and forces to block from the R1 backswing from the side of Value. Value now pushing forward, goes for that backswing again, unable to land it. Candemir now getting pushed up closer and closer to that corner, but holding his ground quite well, using that shield to keep him away, but that's still 53 chip damage that he will not get back. That's health 53 hit points lower as he keeps moving forward. Value trying to set these up for the R1s behind, and now it's going to push him in the corner, and he's going to try to get himself out with sheer aggression. Really good counter aggression, but Candemir is right there with the rolling attack to push him back. The bomb comes out to keep him away while he regens some stamina and finds a better footing. So Candy is able to reset to the neutral there, but we're going to see 227 damage coming out from the side of Value for 2 R1s and a roll catch, able to find a backswing in there and a roll catch. And there's going to be the trade coming out. Actually, nope. We're going to see a block coming out, and he roll poisons it and finds the rolling attack, but still 203 damage comes in from the side of Candemir. Value now really has to kind of wisen up here and figure this out here. Candemir isn't the back foot in terms of positioning, but health, he's got plenty to work with and is able to get this through. Value really wanting to set up one of these little combos from the straight sword to finalize this out. The running attack comes in and the jump and into the R2, but Value's able to avoid it. He finds the backstab. 194 damage, and that's going to be it. Value's going to put him away 2-1.
Oh my lord. The backstab, the fish, to finish it out.
Yeah, I mean, he sees that fully charged R2, and instead of playing it safe, reactioning away from it and just moving away, he sees the opportunity to roll in and get the backstab. Now, the way a lot of backstabs work, when somebody rolls into you, you have the ability to get behind them and backstab them before they come out of recovery. However, there's latency. And
Yeah.
once you get over about 200 ping, you no longer can do that and have priority. The person that rolls into you will have priority on the backstab. Value understood that and grabbed the back there because Candemir worked his way around. Candemir was probably going to back. If it was lower latency, Candemir probably would have backstabbed him. But because of the way this latency works out, he's able to get behind him and get that backstab in.
What a way to finish off that round. What are we on now? 1-2, isn't
it? This is 2-1 in our best of 5.
Nice. It's all still to play for, ladies and gentlemen. It is early days. And that switch to Sword and Board, brave, going up against probably one of the best Sword and Board players.
You know, he played really well. If not for one misplaced R2 that gets him backstabbed, that match was pretty in favor of Candemir up until that point. I mean, all in all, there was trades and stuff enough that he was within that backstab death range. But really, really interesting that, you know, he goes up with the Sword and Board versus him and does really, really well against it. You know, again, Value's so well known for Sword and Board and in the way that he utilizes those backswings and the zoning tool of the Black Knight Shield. And obviously, Candemir is well adept at that as well as he showed there. So it looks like Candemir's in. He is going to be staying on Sword and Board, and Value's now coming back in, and we do see the summon showing up.
Yeah, let's go.
I have a feeling I'm going to need some water for this one.
And there we go. Value in his corner. Candemir in theirs. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Round 4, I believe, isn't it? Yes. So, let us do the rocking and the rollings. On a 3, on a 2, and on a 1. Allez, gents.
And there is the bolt out. We are going to see the pellets coming out from each player here as they move forward. Candemir just throwing that R1 out, actually finding a way to get it, almost nearly landing the backswing there. Really good spacing comes out there. 101 damage through the chip is going to come out, though, in favor of Value. Candemir quickly swapping those shield rings around to get that health, those procs back up, if you will call it that, and 45 chip damage comes through, almost gets caught off the roll, goes for the rolling attack, unable to find the poke. Value actually was setting one up for it, but was able to dead angle behind it and not leave himself to be punished. And now he's trying to run in towards it, goes for the R1 from neutral, and able to land that. And now we're going to see Candemir and just kind of dancing around here, trying to reset for neutral, but Value's not letting that happen, and you're going to see him just immediately going in to try to find the push. There's going to be an R1 with a running attack into another R1 and another R1 from Value, unable to land either of them as all the R1s now coming in from the side of Candemir. Value up against the wall in the corner, able to work his way out and get around, though. Candemir not able to keep him pushed up against the wall, but the trade's going to come out. Hit priority is going to be in favor of Candemir. Goes for the R2 there. That's going to be damage in favor of Candemir as well. So Value now just slightly behind, ever so slightly behind in that. We're going to see the R1s now coming out from the side of Candemir. Value able to find the trade, but the rolling attack comes in from Candemir, 138 damage, keeping Value at bay. Value throwing these R1s out, trying to find the damage best he can. He does not want to get pushed on the back foot. He's had to come back way too many fights actually to block the R2 there, setting up for the backstab. Candemir seeing that he's setting up for a false grab and goes for the R2 instead. So really good play from both of these characters. These R1s coming out on each side, and then the spacing comes out the trade, but that's going to be hit Value in favor of Value. Value goes for the roll catch for the stagger instead of the backswing and nearly lands it, but unable to actually get any damage, whereas the backswing may have landed. So 358 damage in total. We're seeing this health get ever so slightly to closer. You're talking about within 15 to 20 health of each other here, as Value now trying to zone this out and slowly pull this back with chip by chip by chip. And a trade.
Sword and Board. That's Sword and Board in a nutshell. It's like slowly but surely whittling them down with guaranteed hits. And again, the amount of trades here, Candemir must be really, really like confident that he's going to pull this one through, because they are just like, I don't think I've seen them be anywhere beyond like 500 health from each other, except right now, maybe.
Yeah, Candemir is slowly, ever but surely pushing up about 200 health lead. That's enough to win a trade, but we do have to remember that I believe we do have Tears of Denial from the side of Value, unless he opted out of it to get that pellet up, which he very well might have. We see the trade coming through, 203 damage, and there's the roll catch of 15. And that's going to put it away. That's 3-1 now in favor of Candemir.
Oh my word. Whatever history there was is now being decided here and now, ladies and gentlemen. That is quite the lead. There's going to be a whole bunch of pressure on Value now to try and pull this one away, to try and at least claw his way back just a small bit, because Candy is pretty comfortable. He can kind of chill out now for the next couple of rounds. Will he? Doubtful, but
that's the thing you have to look at is Value. You know, Value is somebody that just came back from a 2-0 deficit to win in a best of 5. And I'm sure Candamir's understanding of that. So he has a two win lead against Value, but it's
Yeah.
entirely possible that Value can take that back and bring it up to a 4-3 as opposed to a 3-1. So I think Candamir's aware of that. I don't think he's going to take his foot off the gas until he's won 5 matches.
Yeah.
I think he unless he really wants to do best of nines and wants to mess around a little bit, but I doubt it. Value's a very serious player. Candamir's a very serious player. I have a feeling that we will see them fully trying against each other here. I don't think that we're going to see that comeback a little bit. We might see the swap to straight sword S stock in the event that Value does start to climb back, but I'm not sure. It might be a
I would
respect
be
thing to stay on
very.
the sword and board.
I would. I doubt we'll see Candemir let up any bit of pressure at all now. I think he's in it to win it now at this stage. He is in it to win it.
Yeah.
No if, buts, or maybes about that. But, ladies and gentlemen, round 5 on a 3, on a 2, and a 1. Let's go.
All right, our bolt is in, and we are seeing Value decide to opt for getting a pellet up instead of using those Tears of Denial, and the R1 coming out, able to catch that 146 damage on the side of Candemir. Candemir throwing out the R2, trying to take that back, able to get the swords, the ring swap right before the R1 there as well, really trying to maximize any little bit of damage in the event that R1 does land, but Value able to space it out and now zone him back into the corner. So Candemir has to figure out how to get out of this corner, and Value just kind of setting up a wall here, throwing these R1s out, the feints in and out, the R1's coming back out again, and now we're going to see the backswing coming out from the side of Candemir to actually land that 63 damage into 319 from the roll catch. And that was not a fully charged R2, but a charged R2 to find the roll catch. And now Value trying to find the way in. Candemir able to roll away there, trying to see. You see this positioning here. Value actually gets put back into the corner from the side. I mean, he has the corner pressure, and now he's in the corner. Just some really interesting moves coming out from Candemir that are push him that way. The running attack comes out, but that's going to trade in favor of Candemir. Candemir goes for the R2, unable to land it. And now Value's going to back up. He's going to reset the neutral here. He does not like being on that back foot, especially nearly half of his health is gone here, and Candemir's nearly at full. So we're actually seeing these R1s come back and forth. Another, I think it was a 211 damage came out onto 41 damage came out onto Value there. Value throwing these R1s out and now trying to zone Candemir back into the corner, just throwing the R1s out, able to find the roll catch there for 174 damage. Actually does find the trade, though, as the side of Candemir, and he has the health that he can deal with these trades. So now we're seeing Candemir trying to zone Value back. Value trying to control the center of the map as we move forward here, throwing the R1s out with him against the wall. Candemir able to base it behind it. Actually finds the feint. 186 damage into 56 onto the chip. And Value forced to roll away, but the running attack comes in. Candemir with the roll there as they continue going back and forth. One another, the R1s coming out from the side of Candemir. Candemir just throwing these out. Value trying to punish, but Candemir's right there to take it away, and Candemir trying to set up for the R1 to bait into these hits, and Value's able to see it and get away, trying to punish and then blocking and getting away. These R1s now coming in again, the roll coming out from Candemir, able to get away from the side of Value. Value now really trying to keep this aggression moving forward as they keep this going up, and you've seen just kind of spacing back and forth in this neutral game, goes for the backstab, unable to land it. The running attack comes in from the side of Candemir, and we're going to see the roll coming out from Value, but he does get hit up to a 251 damage in total through the chip off of the R2 as well. And we see the backswing coming in, unable to land. Candemir there to punish it with the rolling attack. Candemir now throwing these R1s out very handedly in terms of health. He's got to, Value's just kind of throwing these attacks out and getting punished for them hand over hand, as we see Candemir now really pushing forward here, throwing these R1s out. The R1 now comes out from the side of Value. Value really trying to clutch this out and pull it forward, but Candemir's not giving him the ability to do that. He's playing very methodical and safe here. The rolls coming out from the side of Candemir. Another R1 coming out from neutral here, throwing these R1s out to feint and try to catch this. The bomb drop. Value's going to space that. I'll go for the running attack and able to land it. The rolls coming, so the R1's coming out, forcing the rolls for Candemir. There's going to be the roll catch, 880 up to 439 damage through the chip, and that's going to be some more health away from Candemir. But Candemir still has a very large health pool advantage over the side of Value. Value now trying to keep this corner pressure alive and get himself some more damage. The running attack comes in, forcing another roll from the side of Value. Value now forced to back up into the more neutral middle ground, as now there's a fight for middle here as they try to zone from there. And we see Candemir throwing the R1s out, going for the back, so you're able to land it. Goes for the third. Really good spacing comes out from Value. Value able to roll it out. Makes a come on the R2. 289 damage. That's going to be a 4-1 lead for Candemir.
Oh my word. Not a clean sweep, but this is impressive on behalf of Candemir. Having fought Value a bunch, to be able to do that to someone like Value is impressive in and of itself. Let's not beat around the bush here, folks.
Yeah.
This is insane. This is like the highest level play I've seen in quite a while. Like,
yeah, I mean, especially the highest S&B play. I mean, because most of the time, the high S&B play we see is from the side of Value. So Candemir coming out and kind of controlling these matches with Sword and Board is certainly saying something. And I mean, you're just talking about. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen Sword and Board played more optimally from either side.
Neither have I. It's kind of nuts. Kind of nuts. Like, we'll just have to wait and see what this next round will bring, but Value really needs to bring it back. This is it. Like, if he messes up one more time, it's GG WP, no re. So he has to be pretty careful, you know. And I can guarantee Kandamir might be the one to rub it in just a smidge that, you know, I pulled out S&B, bro. Come on, what you doing?
You know,
Why
I
you
gotta
doing?
say I mean, it's impressive. You know, I mean, it's impressive to play this well at this high of level with any setup at all, no matter
Yeah,
who you're going against. I mean, you're
agreed.
talking you know, some of the best players and some of the best
Yeah,
play that
for
we've seen
sure. It's
in a
absolutely
very
unreal
long
is what it
time.
is.
It looks like we do have Value in. It looks like Kandamir is just gotten summoned as well. So Value put up against a match point here. He's got to have a comeback, and quite a big one. Keep in mind, he's got to win
Yeah,
he's got to win 4 in a row here to take this. And if he does do that, he's going to win a best of 5, or sorry, a best of 9 as well, because Kandamir hasn't lost yet. Kandamir still hasn't dropped a full match. So we'll see how well they're able to pull that forward. Do you suspect
that
we're going to see the S&B
grueling.
mirror?
I don't actually know. It's hard to know. I see an S&B mirror right now. That's what I'm looking at. But I don't know. He could decide to change. It's really hard to tell. Really, really hard to tell. Like, he could swap mid-fight as well to something a bit more interesting. We'll just have to wait and see. But I think he's convinced he can do it. I think he's convinced. And that
Yeah.
remains to be seen.
Tell you
Well,
the truth,
ladies
I
and
might be
gentlemen.
convinced.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Round 6. On a 3. On a 2. On a 1. Allez, let's go.
All right, and there is the bolt in. We are going to see Value opt for the Tears of Denial this time in this S&B mirror. The Dragon Head Shield comes out. 24 damage is the chip that gets applied to Value, and now we're seeing Kandamir trying to control the center of the map and push him back through this zoning. Value taking the one to take the first swing here. 45 damage of chip comes out on the side. That's going to be 159 damage coming out onto Value from the side of Kandamir, and Kandamir just walking backwards and resetting to neutral here. Doesn't want to take too much, you know, get the event to get pushed back into the corner from the spacing that can come out from Value here. 128 damage comes to Kandamir as well, as Value just kind of keeps throwing these R1s out, hoping that one of them is going to land and allow for a chain here. But, you know, Kandamir too good with these reactions. The trade comes out. That's going to be hit priority in the favor of Value, but we do see the block coming out for Kandamir. All in all, the damage is in favor of Value overall here, as these R1s coming out from the side of Kandamir. Goes in for the running attack. We see the charged R2 coming out, 101 damage into the backswing, 318 total, 183 damage off of that second R1 as well. And we do see Value should be taking a little bit of a health lead here as they move forward.
Yeah, it's definitely seems that way. And again, keep in mind those shield waggles that Value was doing, Sefak didn't even flinch. It is like his reactions are just nuts. I honestly can't believe. You were said it earlier on. A robot, an actual robot, is playing Dark Souls 3 right now, and here we are, back into this little back and forth.
It looks like Kandamir's almost trying to set up for a type of backstab here as he kind of runs in and trying to see it, but Value is a little bit too wise to that as he keeps throwing the R1s out from the side, unlocked, trying to push him back, forcing those rolls, forcing the spacing to come out from the side of Kandamir. Now, Kandamir throwing the R1 out. We're going to see Value throwing the R1 out as well as they continue this pressure forward. The charged R2, but perhaps looked a little weird on my end, but we do see the damage coming through for 749 total on the side of Kandamir. Now Value able to roll away from this as he keeps it going forward for the rolling attack for 123, and now it's just a matter of finishing him off. Is he able to close this one out as the R1s come through? The running attack comes through from the side of Kandamir. Value now trying to set this up as the R1 comes out for 161 damage, and that's going to be Value taking this back up to a 3-2. Or is it a 4-2 now?
It's a 4-2 now.
4-2, okay.
Is it? Double check.
I believe it is a 4-2 now. It is a 4-2. Okay, it just looks like we had a small hiccup on the OBS, but that's okay.
Is this the comeback? Is this it?
Is the download complete? Perhaps it is.
Actually unreal. Oh me, oh my. Imagine if he does it. Imagine if he goes the whole way.
I mean, it's 4-2. There's a lot of going left.
Is it, you know,
There's a lot of wins.
Days.
There's a lot of matches.
Days.
And you know, so I gotta say, it's, you know, we just see those little bits of Kandamir kind of lingering a little bit, and that allows Value to take advantage of it. And Value's been really, really aggressive here, but I'm curious if we're going to see him slow down a little bit and play a little bit more methodically as we're getting closer to the end of this, because he doesn't really have the room to make the trades that he's been making anymore.
Yeah, and I think he might have been smart going for Tears again as well, to be honest with you, because he knows, like, on this latency there are going to be trades, and sometimes, like, just having that ability to trade to end, or the risk of it, is perhaps a good idea. Oh, there we go.
All right, and
if
it
I can
looks like
dodge this real quick.
the Kukri tech coming out from the side of Candemir. He's using my tech, by the way.
I seen a bit of Endotech off a Candemir earlier on. There was a couple of times he was swinging out of neutral. He managed to land it. Listen, maybe I've been doing it wrong this whole time. Okay.
That's funny.
All he needs now is
All right.
the whip finishers, and then we're away. You know,
And
he
then
has
we're
the
there.
full
Yeah,
set.
the off stock whip. You know, another setup carried by off stock. I'm just joking. It looks like we are all set with our players here.
Ladies and gentlemen, on a 3, on a 2, and on a 1. Allez. Let's go.
And there is the bolt in. Again, we see those Tears of Denial coming out. We see the Dragon Head Shield coming out from the side of Candemir. Perhaps we're going to see that throughout this. He actually does go right back up to the Black Knight Shield here, opting for that block over the little bit of damage that he can get with the roll catches from that, as each player just kind of resetting there a little bit as they continue moving forward here. The R1s looking to find their way in. The roll comes out from value. Interesting roll. Perhaps there was a prediction roll there. 63 damage comes through for the chip. However, as they continue moving this forward from here on out, value trying to find a way to aggress. There's 45 damage of chip back onto the side of Candemir now, and we're just seeing them bounce back and forth between one another.
Yeah, we're going to be looking at, I think this is going to be, the early game always seems to go one way or the other, which is basically just they find an opening, they take little bits of damage here and there until someone gets like really high damage from something, either a full combo or anything else. It's going to be nuts. So it's very early days yet for either side to be particularly aggressive. Just yet.
And we see them just kind of continuing to dance around this middle neutral ground here. As Value's trying to find the R1. The running attack comes out from the side of Candemir. Value throwing the R1 out there, unable to find the robot comes in. The running attack comes onto land onto Candemir there for another little bit of damage onto him. And Candemir is just trying to keep the pressure now moving forward, not allowing Value to continue pushing that forward. And Value's still not going to give him up for free, though. He's going to keep his foot on the gas and try to find the pressure. The spacing comes out, goes for the R1 for the whiff punish, and able to land that. Now we just see them circling back and forth with one another. Here's the dance begins as the R1's coming out, goes for the backswing, is the side of Candemir. Candemir continuing to keep this pressure moving forward. Value trying to find a way in, throws the R1, forces the block on the side of Candemir. Candemir able to roll out of the spam of the straight sword. That's going to be 56 damage and chip in total as the feint comes out for Candemir behind him, and Value is going to roll away from that. The R1 comes out for 372 damage. He reads that we're going to see the rolling attack come out, 56 damage and chip, 242 in the roll catch. Value now really pushed up against the back foot here as Value throws these R1s out. Is able to get away from that one, though. Is Candemir really pushing the pressure here, trying to keep him back as the R1s continue to come out and continue to keep moving? And they're trying to find the pressure as close as possible.
Yeah, it's going to be a really hard one now for Value to try and come back. Like, Candemir has a serious life advantage now. It's just going to be a case of whether or not he can get some lucky hits in or just keep the pressure up and try and force Candemir to make a mistake. But he's not really making all that many mistakes. So yeah, it's going to be a really hard one to know.
Yet again, we see Candemir just playing so fundamentally well, and Value has made a few mistakes here, but he's trying to kind of clean it up now and move forward here. The R1's coming out, actually rolls that, unsure if the spacing's going to land, and has forced to roll that one. Again, the spacing from Candemir just a little bit too good there, forces Value to roll and not be able to space out of it, goes for a backswing, actually does not, just throws the R1 out and leaves it there. The R1 coming out from the side of Value now for the whiff punish there, trying to keep the damage moving forward is the side of Candemir, looking to find a way to clutch this out and get himself the tournament championship as they continue moving forward. The R1's coming out here, goes for the backstab is the side of Value. The R2 coming out from the side of Candemir. Value able to see that and react to it, though. Very good. The spacing comes out. The spacing from the side of Candemir was absolutely phenomenal there. Able to just walk out, throw the R1 up, and force the block coming out from the side of Value. But the hit priority is going to be in favor of Value as he goes for the roll catch, but the block comes out for 62. As they continue moving forward here, we're going to see the R1s coming out now from the side of Candemir, trying to find that running attack. Value is able to roll it back. The R1's now coming in from Candemir, again trying to find the pressure. Value able to roll it out. Value trying to control the middle of the map here. The rolling attack comes out from the side of Candemir, able to angle it behind and not leave the opportunity. But here's the R1 from the side of Value now. Value really trying to find a way to close this out, but his health is just so low. 63 more damage comes out through the chip, goes for the backswing there. Not really giving Candemir the opportunity to really finish this out, but Candemir is just taking his time. He's relaxed. He's having fun. He's playing well. There's the tear break for the roll catch for 401 damage, and that's going to be it. Candemir's going to finish it out 5-2 as our tournament champion.
Oh my word. Actually insane. A robot. I'm convinced. Do we have to ban cyborgs from here on out? Is this going to be the way that it works? My god. That was actually impressive. Genuinely impressive. Oh, poor Value, men. I'm not going to lie. I might have been rooting secretly. Hiding under there. But he just wasn't able to do it.
You know, that's all right, man. I mean, Candemir's he's well earned the victory there. I mean, absolutely phenomenal. Candemir, would you like to try your microphone for an interview or not? I know
For
you've
the
tried it a
same.
couple times and it has never worked. I will once again try. Okay, phenomenal.
Excellent.
I believe you are friends with Enda. So if Enda, you can add him to this group.
Yeah, no worries. There should be no problem. Let me remember how to do this real quick. Add my friend from DMs. There we go. Add. Let's go. All right, we should be good to go then. All right, we'll give it a rattle. We'll see what happens. Hello, Candemir.
Webcams are probably going to be a little bit scuffed.
Uh,
Oh no, they actually look good.
Imagine.
Can you hear me?
Nice.
Oh my word, we
Hey,
actually
we
can,
can.
dude. Holy shit.
We can actually hear you.
Hi. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Honestly, I wasn't expecting your mic to work.
Yeah.
First of all, I mean, congratulations, man. I don't
Thanks.
think I've had the pleasure of watching a player that's as fundamentally sound as you. Your mechanics are really, really next level. How do you keep your nerves when you're going up in these matches? I mean, you've played what 3 tournaments in a row that you haven't dropped an actual match. How do you keep your nerves in that? How do you keep your cool to allow you to play at the ability you play at?
Well, before, like, in my first tournament in 2020 May, like, my nerves were really bad. I lost to Sexy. And then, until then, I just kind of did more turnies and more turns. And you always have the nerves, like, you always have the same heartbeat and the same shaking. But, I don't know, it just affects me less. And that's kind of it, yeah. It's just experience.
Sure.
And how? So you are probably one of the best fundamental players that we've seen that's still actively playing the game. How did you? Do you train in a specific way, or is it just do you fight certain people? How do you work on that and maintain it at such a high level? I suppose.
Um, I, like, for the last 6 months or so, I've just been playing like normal. But before that, I used to watch a lot of old, like, I don't know, old tournaments and shit. So that's how I used to train. Like, I would try to mimic their plays and shit like that. But other than that, I just play.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I have no specific way.
So why did you take out the sword and board? Was it a little bit of a
It was,
beating?
yeah. I
Of
mean,
course it was.
what else could it be? I don't know. It's just like it would be cooler if I beat him in straight sword. And Value wasn't like feeling it too much, and I was playing pretty good, so I decided to take my chances.
Sure.
Oh my word. Disgraceful. I'm trying to think. What other questions does you got anything, LB?
I think Amir had a question actually.
Oh.
Oh, are you muted in OBS, by the way? All right. So
All right, there we
our
go.
wonderful OBS operator Amir was muted in OBS. So he asked a question, and I don't think anybody heard
Oh,
it.
sure.
So if you wouldn't mind repeating your question.
Yeah, well, the one I was gonna ask was one that was already answered by Safak when answering Enda's question, which was, like about how he really learned to play that consistently and whatever. And I think that explanation was pretty sufficient, like, just practicing, and then also the, just watching past tournaments and seeing how these players were able to, despite the competition, learn or just play in a way that was consistent enough that, they were able to get to the very end.
And I
Yeah.
suppose the only other real question I have for you, dude, is are you excited for Elden Ring, or are you gonna hang up the controller for a bit? What's the plan?
I mean, I got a bunch of school shit coming up. I might not try hard too much. I don't know. It's just like it depends. I'm not sure yet.
Oh shit! I think the OBS might have messed up.
It's not like you hop off the call. It should reset.
Because you. Oh wait, and maybe if you close your.
Oh yeah, if you close your stream.
Oh, I can close my stream now.
It might not. It might throw it off to where we have.
Well, yeah, we might as well try.
Yeah, absolutely.
Also, wait for Value to actually get in first. Oh, well, now there's me and LBU's
There's
spot.
you and me, Amir.
Okay, what is it? Open back up the stream so we can get the windows back in the proper spots.
Let's go. We'll be fine. It's
Oh no,
we can-
value's in there. I guess we'll
There's
just
value. Well, actually, with value in it might
go to the raw
if
game.
we drop Zonic out, it should. Or did Zonic already leave? Zonic already left. Oh no, Zonic's still here. Zonic, if you hop, there we go. That
There
might
we go.
reset it back to where we need.
value.
There we go.
Hello.
Yo. What's up?
Yo,
How you doing, value?
Congratulations, man. Second place. I mean,
Yeah.
that Whitnake fight. Whew. That was like I was having end of heart problems when I was watching that, man. I was just like, oh my goodness. What is this? What is happening? Can you just walk us through what was kind of going through your mind throughout that full comeback?
That full comeback? Yeah, I don't know. I was like one shot, so I was playing insanely safe, especially when it's like 210 MS. I can just roll away pretty safely. And that last crossbow shot, I am so surprised it hit. I timed it for his reload just in case he would roll it, but I caught him on it, so I'm so happy that I actually came back there. That was insane.
Yeah. It's just by the skin of your teeth, you managed to get through those rounds.
Yeah,
man. That was really close.
Yeah, I can't believe it.
So I gotta
yeah.
ask, you had that 5 minutes after the comeback in the losers bracket before coming in. How did you spend those, and what were you thinking about?
I honestly just chilled in VC with the people I was talking to throughout the tourney. Each time that I went into a match, I deafened and just played, but I just chilled talking to people. That's pretty much it.
Understandable. Man, you've all played insane, lads. I'm absolutely delighted to have been a part of it. Like
Yeah.
It's the likes of E2 and and every other contestant are the ones who really made it at the end of the day.
You know, actually, sorry to intrude, but one thing I noticed is that Safak like pretty consistently was avoiding backswing setups from like an R1 step forward, R1 backswing, but I noticed Safak was able to like consistently get away from them with like, I guess some proper spacing and them not being at immediate close range, or maybe a bit of latency helped.
Well, when we're dealing with like the latency that Safak has, which is like 170, 160, you need to delay your R1 sometimes, and if I'm super far away, I just can't get that in time. So
yeah,
like against low latency, you don't have to worry about hitting the first R1 at max range. You can just get a backswing afterwards, but at this lat, you don't get that option anymore.
Like you sometimes need to delay it, but sometimes not. It just depends on how late they roll, and making that decision can be kind of hard.
Yeah.
So it's just inconsistent anyway.
I also think what is it? Well, actually, yeah, that wouldn't be applied. Say your reactions could help you like roll or earlier to avoid the backswing easier, but I don't know if it applies in this case.
I don't think it does.
As a neutral.
Because it depends on the timing of your second swing, not the first. So if they early roll it, you just time it accordingly, especially on this lat.
I do have one question. Do you feel the Tears was worth the investment value?
For sure, like no question.
It made me win against Whitnake twice.
I feel like, what is it? Literally, like every time you got your tears popped, like it's not too different from just getting to 100 health or something. It's just sort of like a psychological thing, because then you just immediately went and just started going like buck wild chasing them, right? And especially in those matches like with Whitnake. So like it's not even that much different. It's just real. That's what I saw there.
Yeah, I would go ham right when, because if I don't, then they just get a crossbow reloaded up, and I'm fucked. But if I can just aggress them and stop them from reloading their crossbow, that's the play.
And you almost got in that one that was really interesting, where like I think he swapped the crossbow on or something, and then he started fat rolling, but at the same time you knew you could be punished for your aggression, so you stumbled a bit.
And then I ate a dark blossom or whatever, or dark bug pellet.
Yeah.
And I got destroyed. Yeah, that was just a misclick, because I actually had to switch my B button to my A, because my B button was sticking down whenever I pressed it down, so I switched my roll to A. And usually you go up left to Y to switch to two hands, which is what I wanted to do. but it was an X instead, so I ate a bug pellet.
Well, you know what? You have the benefits now. You're able to, with the
Yeah.
prize money, you can get a new controller.
There you go.
So
you can
know
get
what,
yourself
man?
a new
You got
controller.
this.
You know,
that is that's pretty good. Real quick value. When you saw Candemir swap to Sword and Board, what was your initial reaction to that?
I was like, all right, this is a better matchup. That's about it.
And value, what are your plans for Elden Ring?
I'm gonna be grinding it probably. Hopefully the PvP is actually somewhat competitive. If it is, then I'm gonna be completely on that, playing to be really good at the game.
Exciting.
Hells yeah. Hells yeah.
Also, this is just a very short question. Since Val uses an Xbox controller, do you happen to use an Xbox controller too? Back?
No, I use a PS5 controller.
PS4? DualShock 4?
PS5.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, I used to use a DualShock 4, and then it had like the problem where the cable wiggles and then it disconnects. So I brought it to the guy and he fixed it, and then like 3 days later it was broken again. So I bought a PS5 controller and it just broke again. So it wasn't a good investment. But yeah.
That'll do it.
That's the joy of the PlayStation controllers.
Yeah.
I think you just tend to cycle through, unfortunately.
All right. So I think we're about done here, right?
No,
I think we are. Oh, go
I
ahead.
have a suggestion. Can you guys like fix your fucking description, man? It's like still says soul in there.
Does it? Oh no.
Yeah, you didn't change it.
Still says
Also,
what?
yeah, like maybe
Sole purpose.
yeah.
Oh no.
Gabri
I was
for
so
sure
I had
made
it
that, bro.
fixed. No, that's all on us.
The
dude.
moment when it
Great.
was brought up 3 days ago, and all of us thought the other ones were doing it.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Wait, I'm so confused. What are we talking about?
The description on our
description
channel is
typo.
yeah.
With the sole purposes. of
Three
falsity.
native English speakers, by the way.
Insane.
But
Yeah,
I
also,
can't, we all know I can't read, so listen, guys, we're kind of already there, you know.
That's
So
great.
the tourney in general was like pretty nice, but like the 1 hour delay, that was kind of weird. Yeah, I feel like you guys should like not do that for Elden Ring. Like maybe.
Yeah.
It was mostly
I'm
the.
It was mostly
I'm
the
kind of
private
for it. I'm
servers.
kind of for it, bro.
Yeah, it was
There's always
primarily
a
the private
kinda-
servers we had hiccups with trying to get that set up. Everything was pretty much set for like OBS and everything for the whole week we've been working on getting that. The biggest hiccup was just trying to deal with the private servers. So hopefully in Elden Ring we won't have to worry about that.
And
that
this is
a lot of those
also
issues.
the first tourney I'm actually like hosting or like controlling anything for. So there's a few hiccups with like updating the the health bars and the player names and stuff like that, or one time entirely forgetting to transition. But yeah, hopefully in Elden Ring we'll have things more automated with like tools and all that stuff, and
Yeah, there's no huge delays other than the start, but
Yeah.
it was pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, here's to hoping we get to see you two gentlemen up here again for Elden Ring. It will be, you're starting off strong. You have a bit of an advantage over the rest of us going in. So, congratulations, gentlemen. Very well done.
And GG's Candemir. It's a good match.
Yeah, GG.
Alrighty.
No BM, disgusting.
Alright.
Outrageous.
Well, who are we rating? Looks like G9's live. Looks like Dante's live. That's the only people I see streaming Dark Souls.
I could take a look.
G9.
Nah, Napstar.
Napstar. Napstar.
Nap.
Oh right, this is can't really see from this.
Dante's live too.
G,
Yeah, it looks like Dante and G are the only two that I see. Possibly I don't follow somebody.
Either of those guys, to be honest with you. Flip a coin over it. What do you reckon?
We rated G9 at the end of anyone. So let's go ahead and rate Dante.
Yeah,
all right.
Hells yeah.
Sounds good.
How do you spell it exactly? So I don't.
I'll put it in chat for you.
I don't, send us off to a non-live channel.
That would be pretty good, actually. That would be the finishing touch for everything, I think.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, take care. Have a good one, and see you all in Elden Ring.
See ya.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye. There we go. Looks like we're done.